I'm Paul Huizinga. I'm here at the PRI show, catching up with my friend JR here at Powermaster, and we're talking about LS-specific parts, specifically starters and alternators. Let's start with starters. What are we looking at?
We've got a complete line of LS starters available now, from mild to wild. We've got your entry point or price point piece, and it's a big upgrade from a stock piece, just going a couple extra dollars more and sometimes an even trade-off. But the components that you're going to get are going to be top quality. Some of the features that include just one step up from a stock piece. You get rid of your plastic gears inside. It's going to be a clutch assembly, and you get some solenoid adjustment for header options that you're going to have.
Now that's a pretty big deal, especially for swaps where space may be a little tight. You don't want to put a lot of heat in that solenoid, and it's really going to be a problem solver for those sort of installations.
It can be a problem solver, and that's one of our big things. We've actually seen a lot of the guys doing LS swaps in some of the smaller cars, such as a Miata, and those guys love our starter because they can turn that starter 180 degrees and fit any type of frame rail configuration they're working with, or exhaust. It clears that very well.
And like you mentioned, it's not a big step up in price, but you're just getting a whole lot more capability.
The capabilities, yes. So you're getting a billet aluminum block that's got the adjustments. That's going to transfer less heat into the starter. So down the road, it can be a big problem solver for guys, and that's one of the calls we get quite often on our tech line. Hard to start LS engine that it's got a few bolt-on parts. Our starter can usually take care of that problem pretty easy for them.
All right, now moving up the product line, what do we start to add in terms of features and output?
Features and output, roughly for every $20 to $30 you spend, you get a bump in features, and we can go from mild to wild again. So from 160 foot-pounds of cranking torque, which is going to be more than a stock, all the way up to 250 for your heavy hitter guys.
I was going to say there's a lot of people now who are building really big bore, big displacement LS engines, a lot of compression, and it's kind of difficult to turn those engines over.
Correct. We've got guys with LS engines now that are in the 500 cubic inch range, and that's a big engine. With timing numbers that are pretty high on initial startup, they're going to need that 250 foot-pounds of cranking torque to get those engines spinning.
Now let's switch over to alternators. And you guys have been making alternators for LS applications for quite a while, but you've added some bracketry and other components here that are really a great complement to your existing line of alternators.
Correct, yeah. We've had the alternators for years. They've been a great product for us. A bump in amperage, again, that's kind of what we're known for, especially your idle amperage numbers. These guys that have, multiple cooling fans, fuel pumps, they've got nitrous solenoids, or may have a boost controller. One of our big things are intercooler pumps we see, drawing a lot of amperage. So we can have 100 amps at idle. They can even, in some cases, have 150 at idle. But now we have a bracket to go along with that, whether it be a high mount or low mount, and we've got more to come.
I was going to say an alternator that's got a high output doesn't do you a whole lot of good if you can't actually attach it to the engine and clear everything in the engine bay.
Correct. A lot of them will work in a stock LS bracket as well, but there's some guys that want to delete maybe the water pump or the factory LS bracket. Want to mount a bracket down low, or want something that's got a little more bling to it as well. We've got you covered on that.
Well, this is just a tiny slice of the whole cross-section of stuff you make, not just for LSs, but for practically anything with an engine, thousands of different parts. Where can people go to get information on your entire product line?
Well, Paul, they can go to PowermasterPerformance.com or give us a call at 630-957-4019.
Well, I really appreciate your time. It was great catching up with you. You keep it right here because we've got a whole bunch more from the PRI show.